The program still on your television this morning on ITV, and I did say that we are going to be looking at the expansion of the Edo State executive in government. I mean, this government in Edo State, very, very historical, right from for more than 30 years of the life and time of Edo State. It is the first time that we are seeing that about 28 ministries so far in Edo State. Well, to look at all this this morning, we are so privileged to have a special advisor to the state governments on media, communications, and strategy, Mr. Goswill Inegbe. So, welcome to the program this morning on RTV.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right. So I'll personally thank you. I mean, despite a very tight schedule, you found time to come on the program today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Now, let's start from what seems to be a major concern before we, delve into the expansion of the State Executive Council. I mean, the issue of security. There are opinions from some, sectors of the state that the governor is perhaps, leaving the security of lives and property to campaign for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the 2027 presidential election. How correct is that?
People has rights to their opinion. The fact remains that this governor is tackling insecurity with every sense of commitment, and this governor, since he came on board, has initiated strategies, security-wise, in order to curb the insecurity challenge that we are facing as a nation, not just as a state. The insecurity crisis is not peculiar to Edo State alone. It's not even peculiar to Nigeria as a nation. It's a global challenge. It's a global phenomenon. And the governor is doing so much in ensuring that lives and property in Edo State, they are safer than how he meant them. For someone to insinuate that the governor, who is invited by his own colleague to come and commission project, as we speak right now, the governor is going to is on an en route to the project site in the Ekiti State, where his colleagues invited him to come and commission. So he is carrying out national assignments. And that does not amount to the fact that he has abandoned the state. Sometimes when people wake up in the morning and make some fleeting statements, yeah. For us, they are speaking on the standpoint of ignorance, with all due respect to their opinion. But that's the fact.
Yeah, but I think you may not blame people, because the strategies that the Edo State governor seems to be putting in place seems not to be yielding results. I mean, there is a current issue that we are following in Edo State. I mean, the one that happened a few days ago, air routes, the Akure Road, whereby travelers were apprehended, kidnapped, and we understand that a particular one, that they paid the sum of 20 million naira to the kidnappers. So when people say this, that the security arrangement in Edo State seems not to be optimally looked at, don't you think they are right?
First and foremost, I am not aware of any rap sum of the sum of 20 million naira be paid. So 20 million naira be paid. And secondly, I quickly want to, with all due respect, disagree with you that the strategy of the governor or the government is regarding curbing insecurities.
Not me. What people are saying.
Please, I'm just trying to also react to, because you said it.
Yeah.
First and foremost, the route you just referenced is boundary between Ondo State and Edo State. And don't forget that it has to do with collaborative effort between the two states to mount, to secure the boundary that between the two states. And that incident I just referenced, as I speak right now, of course, when I'm on live television talking about things like this, as a government, we try to speak truth to what is reality on ground, and not to come to television and preach propaganda. This governor, as is known today, in not just in Edo State, in Nigeria, is someone who does not play to the gallery. He's someone who does not dwell in political propaganda just to achieve cheap popularity. He's a governor who is genuinely committed to serving Edo people and delivering the mandate that was given to him by the good people of Edo State. So I said that to say this. The issue of security, the intervention of this governor since he came on board is there for everybody to see. And don't forget that there is no solving insecurity challenges is not a rocket science.
Yeah, the intervention seems to be problematic itself.
Let me land my thoughts. Yeah. Thank you so much. The point I'm making is that as a government, this governor is doing everything to ensure that lives and property are safer in Edo State. I don't want to go back to how we met it when he came on board, what he met on ground. We don't want to talk about those ones. We are talking about what he's doing. And I can assure you that in no distant time, some of these challenges we are facing will become history as far as the state is concerned. So the governor has invested so much. In fact, I stand to be corrected. I stand to be challenged that this governor has invested in ensuring, of course, in the security sector than any governor that ever governed the state. Yeah, the records are there.
Yeah, but let's look at it from another dimension now. Now, personally, I appreciate the state governor. I mean, the intervention of the Vigilante group in the states is laudable, but that seems to be another problem itself. I mean, perhaps the governor may not be aware the seeming nature of the nuisance that seems that people say it seems to pose to members of the public. I mean, almost all major streets in Benin, you find them, in company with the police officials, as some of them are alleged to, be constituting nuisance to members of the public, motorists and all that, asking for money. And that further heighten the insecurity issues in the state. Perhaps you may not be aware, or maybe the state governor himself is not aware.
In every human organization, when you have a leader who as in the case of the governor of those states that we're talking about today, has been able to have that idea of bringing in an organization that has to do with security. And this organization is populated by human beings. The governor cannot be in the mindset of those individuals. It's just, for instance, under security agencies today, that people have a lot of complaint towards the manner in which they carry out their responsibilities. The fault is not from, for instance, at the national level, from the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And in the case of Edo State, the governor of Edo State. So the point I'm making is this: in every human organization, the challenges of having some bad eggs among such organizations exist.
Now, we understand that in the media, we understand that some of these guys are being profiled. Now, the question that we asked to that effect is that how long is the state government going to profile them? I mean, there are allegations how some of them are constituting nuisance. So members of the public are disturbed to know for how long will the state government profile them.
I'm not aware that the state government has those people, they went to, if you have followed the process of recruitment and training, they spent over 2 weeks in a training camp, and they were trained by service generals and retired generals in the Nigerian Army. And after that, they were dispatched to their primary area of assignment. And as I said before, of course, in organization manned by human beings, there is bound to be some few individuals that are, so to say, to be bad eggs. As I said, it does not just exist only in this case that we are discussing. It happens in every organization. But what I can assure you that most time, some of these complaints by the public, which they have right to, when you take our time to investigate, to ascertain genuinely what really happened, you'll find out that you have a different perspective towards the narrative that was peddled. So the point is this: the governor will do all it takes to ensure that the interests of the Edo people are always protected and projected. Okay. And some of these challenges all the people are talking about, as I've always referred, we should not forget the fact that the governor has barely spent 1 year in office. Sometimes when people are analyzing issues surrounding this administration, or rather assessing the governor, they will be speaking as if this governor has spent 4 years in the office. This is a governor who has spent barely 1 year in office, and he has done so much. The facts speak for itself. You don't need to campaign about it, because what he has done, what he has achieved in less than a year in office is there for everyone to see. Okay. And they speak for itself.
All right. So away from that now, the issue of the historical realization that we have today in terms of the fully constituted executive, council of the states. As we speak now, we have a full government in Edo State because we have a full-fledged executive, council. I mean, all the commissioners have been duly inaugurated. So far, we have about 28 of them. Very historical because we've never had it in the history of Edo State. But you tell us right now, because people are also trying to ask the question, is this a necessity or just a kind of a mere repetition? As this discussion progresses, we're going to go through the various ministries. And, some persons are asking a question. Some of the ministries are repetitive in nature and in scope. So is this a necessity or just a repetition? I mean, the expansion of the scope of the State Executive Council.
What the government did is not just expansion of the State Executive Council. Look, let me situate it the way things are. Because as I said before, people bound to have misinterpretation when they don't have the facts. These are the facts. What the governor did is a comprehensive restructuring of the ministries that were existing and a revival of the defunct ones. Today, the governor's vision for the state is encapsulated in a acronym called SHINE.
The Shine Agenda.
The SHINE Agenda. SHINE, as spelled, X stand for security.
Okay.
H, health. I, infrastructure. Of course. N, nutrition cum agriculture. Then E, education. Now, the governor, for him to realize his vision, encapsulated his SHINE agenda, there was a need for a seamless alignment towards that vision, which has to do with comprehensive restructuring of the existing ministry and revival of the defunct ones. So what the governor simply did is, of course, to have a proper coordination of ministries that were existing.
Okay.
And also help in administrative efficiency.
Beautiful. I'll pause you there because we need to take this break now. The program is still This Morning on ITV. And our special guest this morning is Mr. Goswili Negbe, the special advisor on media projects and strategy to the Edo State government. So we're looking at the expansion of the State Executive Council, very historical in Edo State. Please stay tuned. All right, thank you one more time. The program is still on your television or this morning on ITV, and we still have Mr. Goswili Negbe here, the special advisor on media communications projects to the Edo State government. All right, so before the break, you were trying to birth the SHINE agenda as it's encapsulated in this expansion of the Executive Council.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity once again. As I was explaining, this strategic reform of the ministries is actually designed for the seamless alignment of Mr. Governor's SHINE agenda, which I explained earlier before. And not only that, it's the reform of the comprehensive restructuring is also mirrored towards the federal level, or rather the structure at the federal level for the alignment with Mr. President.
Why is the governor so interested in what is happening at the federal level? I mean, there are three tiers of government. You have the federal government, the state government, and of course the local government. I mean, some would say that at every specific level of government, there should be some level of sovereignty. So why do you think the government is so interested in what's happening?
The sub-national, at this state, or at this level, they are called states, or sub-national. If you look at the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you find out that no state can actually today in our nation exist in isolation. That's why we have the central government.
Okay.
Now, in regards to the case we are discussing, at the federal level, you have, if you look at the list of the restructured and revived ministries, the 28 ministries now, you find out that it aligns with the structure at the federal level. And that will help the states to benefit more. Programs, initiatives, and activities that the federal government are engaging that align with the Mr. President's Renew Hope agenda, it will be easily, in order it will be easy to be domesticated in the state, because at the state level we have the same structure that is mirrored like at this federal level. So it has also to do with being subservient, so to say.
Or with politics.
Or with politics. It's for the purpose of administrative efficiency, proper coordination, and of course for to help the governor to deliver on his mandate for Edo people.
Okay. All right. So we are so privileged to have the list of the newly inaugurated ministries and their commissioners. So to further buttress this discussion this morning, we have Ministry of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy. That the commissioner for that has not been listed. He's still pending, but we have the ministry already created. Then we have the Ministry of Works, Honorable Dr. Felix Higwese Ahabue, while the Minister of Mining, Honorable Andrew Ijekbai, Minister of Information and Strategy, Prince Kazim Afegwa. Then the Minister of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Paul Nusayaba Ohombamo, while the Minister of Business, Trade and Investment goes to Omo Anabo. Then the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Jerry Owangwe. And also too, we have Minister of Livestock Development, Professor Omo Dion Ignatius Ikpamusa. And others include the Minister of Environment and Sustainability, Honorable Barrister Nusa T. Adams, the Minister of Health, Dr. Cyril Adams Oshomole, the Minister of Education, Dr. Emmanuel Padi Iyamu, the Minister of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development goes to Dr. Loki Esegbe, and the Minister of Lands and Housing, Honorable Yakubu Oshere Noah Musa JP, Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Ohimai Hijameto. Then also we have the Minister of Science and Technology, Honorable Etiunsa Ogbewi, Minister of Water Resources, Sanitation, Dr. Washington Osa Osifu, and the Minister of Youth Affairs goes to Honorable Charity Amanyago. The Minister of Women Affairs, Eugenia Abdullah, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Barrister Mary Olabisi Idaomi. Then the Minister of Power, Honorable Barrister Osembo Paul Ehigie, Minister of Oil and Gas Resources, Barrister Vincent Osawadia. Then the Minister of Finance goes to Engineer Emmanuel Okwebo, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Dr. Elizabeth Ebusele. Then the Minister of Transportation, Honorable Saturday Uwilekwe Idehen JP, Minister of Justice, Professor Roland Itoya Otaru SAN, the Minister of Labor and Productivity, Godwin Afekhoi Eshieshe, and the Minister of Special Duties goes to Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations goes to Honorable Barrister Kenneth Okoruwa Ihesenke. Then the last, but certainly not the least, the Minister of Public Security and Safety goes to Abia Festus Edianose. Now, Mr. Goswell, the very first one is still pending. Why is it pending?
Well, Mr. Governor is looking into the ministry. As I said before, some of these ministries were defunct. And the governor is putting on initiative to revive. Because it's not just enough for you to create a ministry. It's for the ministry to be operational, not to be docile, so to say. So the governor is looking into it personally. If you know art and culture, today Edo State is a state that when you talk to culture, it leads the path. And the governor wants to ensure that our cultural heritage is properly projected to the world. And for you to do that, you have to get the best ideas in such ministry, and of course bring the best hands to handle it. So in other words, the Ministry of Agriculture is going to be a kind of the gateway to our culture, to our tradition, and to our belief.
Now, the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Culture and Creative Economy now seems to be a repetition, or let me say, the Ministry of Chieftaincy Title Affairs seems to be a repetition of Ministry of Culture and Creative Economy. I mean, in some other governments where we've had all these, things lumped in one ministry, and perhaps if you go through all that, you will see similar activities, but different nomenclature.
Can I quickly react to that?
Yes.
The Ministry of Culture and Creative Economy is not a repetition of the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. The Ministry of Chieftaincy Affairs, Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs deals with the local governments across the states. And the other layers of it, which is the Chieftaincy Affairs, has to do with the traditional rulers. If you are conservative with the extant laws in our states, you find out that the traditional rulers, according to the law, they are more or less like staffs of the local government councils. And it is based on that the chieftaincy affairs layers of that ministry, or layer of that ministry, is attached to the ministry. So for the Ministry of Culture and Creative Economy, just as the ministry entails, of course, you and I know what, when you talk about culture, you know what it means when we're talking about culture. And when we talk about creative economy, today we're living in a world that creativity is the key to any economy. And art and culture has becomes another means where economy of a nation, of a state, is being promoted, in the sense that today art and culture brings a lot of funds in any economy.
Now, what about the Ministry of Livestock? You have one that is closely related. You have the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security.
Yes.
That's by Dr. Jerry Wangwe. Then you also have the Ministry of Livestock Development, Professor Omol John Ignatius Ikponusa. I mean, livestock, agriculture, is it all the same thing?
Well, livestock is part of agriculture, but if you know, the agricultural sector is a very vast sector. And this issue of challenges with livestock, we have a history in this nation. When we deal with livestock, especially the cow rearers. Over time, we know, you and I know the challenge we have in terms of that. What the government is trying to do here is that we have to have a proper ministry that can coordinate the operators. For instance, in this, it has to do with the business of livestock. And the governor's dreams and ideas for the state is to have a state whereby, if you are doing a business, in the case of this, livestock is a business. And he is looking to a direction that in the process of doing your business, someone's rights and privileges, or someone's business should not be disrupted. And the governor wants a situation whereby a seamless coordination is giving attention towards that direction. Because, as I said before, agriculture is a very vast sector. And sometimes the challenges of managing such sector is always seen in the activities of governance. And the governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo, wants this state to be a model to other states in Nigeria when these ministries are properly operational according to his vision as enshrined in the Shine agenda.
Okay. All right. So as we wrap up now it took the governor almost a whole year. I mean, by 12th of next month, that's November 12th,
Yes.
the governor would have done exactly 365 days.
Yes.
That's 1 year in office. Now, it
Yes.
took him almost a whole year to have a full list of executive council. So that time, some analysts are expecting right now that, I mean, for a government that took almost a whole year to list his commissioners, eventually we'll have the commissioners and the ministries. So all those nuances and things we've been hearing in those states perhaps will stop. Like the issue of insecurity, that seems to be a major talking point that they will now stop. So are you going to assure us on this program today that now that we have a full-fledged government in Edo State, that most things that bother Edolites will stop?
Well, yes, of course. Before I react to the issue of the security, I want to quickly correct another impression. It didn't take the governor 1 year to name his commissioners. No, I'm coming there. What happened is this. When the governor came on board, he met a structure. Please don't forget, I think I took our time to explain what the governor did. He made a structure that was highly uncoordinated. He made ministries that were defunct. So the governor, the moment he came on board, because he has a vision for the state, and for him to realize his vision for the state, he needs a proper structure. It's just like when you want to build a house, you need a proper foundation to erect the type of structure that you want to build for yourself. So when he came aboard, he needs a good, proper, coordinated structure. And that's the reason why he has to approve a comprehensive restructuring of the existing ministries and, of course, revival of the defunct ones. And that, of course, you know that has to take some time and process. But the ones that were already okay, as you are already aware, when he came aboard, in fact, this governor, in the history of our state, is the governor that immediately he came on board, released the list of, even though it was not the comprehensive one, but he released the list of major appointments the very week he was sworn into office. So the point I'm making is this. The reason why today we're having the full cabinet is because when he came aboard, some of these ministries needed to be restructured. And now, after the,
when you say
after the design,
how exactly do you mean?
Reform.
Reform.
Yes, that's another word for it. Strategic reform designed to align with the vision of Mr. Governor. Because he's the one that is carrying the vision. He's the one that has the ideas, what he wants to do for the state. And for him to achieve that, he needs a good foundation. He needs good ministries.
When you say reform now,
yes,
does it mean that, I mean, the ministries are not going to have a permanent secretary, and they are not going to have a director?
The other part
because we're talking about civil servants, I mean, that must have their positions.
It will be, they will be certainly there. You don't run ministry without civil servants now. They will certainly be there. You don't run ministries. Look, I really don't want to be pushed on what we met on grant. But since you are pushing, let me just give you just a kind of a little snippet inside it. What we made, when we came, is that what we're saying is that the former governor, they were running, he was mainly focused on agencies in the ministries. For instance, when you have,
in other words, non-state actors.
No, exactly. He brought consultants.
We're running.
I didn't really want to go, but let's talk.
No, please do, because these are the concerns of Edo people.
What we met is this: a situation whereby the former governor and brought in consultants. These consultants, they were in the ministries. What they did rather, is to look into some of the agencies. For instance, when you have Ministry of Health, look at the agencies like SUBEB, like State Secondary Education Board, and then out of the entire gamut of the ministry, you take out those agencies. You brought in consultants
to run
them. Then the civil servants were made redundant. You can investigate what I'm saying. Their civil service, they were practically not do anything. And there were serious complaints from them, but they couldn't speak. Of course, civil servants, because of their job security, they couldn't just speak out. But they were redundant, they were not doing nothing. A ministry that has high numbers of civil servants, you see that 2 or 3 persons, consultants from Lagos, from River State, they were running such ministries. In ministries, there are structures. Agencies report. Okay, that's why I say I don't want to go into. But in ministries, you have agencies that report to the commissioners. Commissioner report to the governor. But what we meant is that these agencies run by a consultant. They do whatever they of course, whatever they did, report directly to the governor. Then the commissioner is just sitting there as a ceremonial head, and the civil servant, the PS, they go to the office and be watching television, doing nothing. Not by their own dictate, but the system, they were make redundant. So when the governor came, he said, no, you don't run government like this. It's not a limited liability company. Okay. It's government. Yeah. So he came and had to do comprehensive restructuring, reforms. That's why I told you, I used the word different ministry. I said that you asked me, why were there different ministries? Because they were not used.
All right, so we have to pause this discussion this morning. I know you are so loaded, but perhaps we're going to have another time, so that we can invite you more, so that we can attend to some of these issues, because the issues are developing by the day, they are evolving by the day, and Edulites, we keep on asking questions. And we hope when I call on you on this program again, you will oblige us. Yeah. Okay. So I want to say very thank you so much for coming on the program today. All right. So the program is still this morning on ITV, and we've been talking with Mr. Godswill Enegbe, the special advisor on communications, strategy, and media projects in Edo State, attending to the big question, the expansion of the state executive as it were today, whether it is a necessity or a mere repetition. So he has said that it's a necessity because of the need of the time, and also to further promote the shine agenda of Senator Monde Okpebholo in Edo State.